the 9/11 thing, you know, these are important issues. There are a lot of unanswered questions. And they're unanswered because this administration will not answer the questions. It's that simple, all right? Now, I'm the last to cast aspersions on so-called conspiracy theorists, you know? I applaud these people. I respect them. I think they need to pursue answers to these questions. I'm old enough, see the gray in my hair, to have been around for John Kennedy's assassination and to have taken the word of the Warren Commission on faith. No longer will I ever criticize people or try to get answers to questions that are available. Now, is there a cover-up? Yes, there is a cover-up. The question is, what's being covered up? Now, perhaps you have had to work in the federal bureaucracy to realize the unlimited potential for screwing up. There are incredible mistakes made, and so the most charitable explanation of 9/11 is gross negligence, gross malfeasance. The president was warned, he didn't know what to do, so he did nothing. Condoleezza Rice was just not the right person for that job. That's the charitable explanation. There are other explanations around, and with each observance of what these folks, especially Cheney and others, are capable of. I mean, just think about it. The President of the United States going to the Congress, the American people saying, you know, we have to be able to torture people. And we've come a long way, haven't we? So it's easy for me to believe that something more sinister may be involved, but I'm an intelligence professional first and foremost, and I've got to be really careful to state the evidence and not do what I accuse others of doing, cherry pick intelligence. So for every new theory that comes out, there are 2 or 3 more unanswered questions. And you know, when I get a chance to really sink my teeth into this, maybe I can come up with some firm judgments. But right now, the jury is out, and let the questions continue to be asked, and let these people continue to be bothered. I had an experience last night. I can relate to you. I was reading the Constitution formally at a session at Georgetown University, at their big new playhouse there, and previous congressman, previous secretary of Norm Mineta, previous Secretary of Transportation, was there. And after he finished reading his portion of the Constitution, I was already finished mine, and I ran down and intercepted him as he left. I had an 8-minute conversation with him. I asked him, in effect, why do you think the Vice President let that plane, or whatever it was, hit the Pentagon? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, there was that fellow that came in and said, Mr. Vice President, that it's just 10 minutes out now, and the same orders? And the Vice President, yeah. And then 5 minutes later, it's just 5 out now, same orders? Yeah, did I change the orders? 5 minutes later, something hits the Pentagon. I said, well, how do you figure that out? How do you figure that, Secretary Mineta? And he starts talking about the plane in Pennsylvania. I couldn't figure out whether he's completely out of it or whether he just doesn't want to answer the questions. But there was a one-on-one opportunity to pursue a decent answer to a question. Mineta was there. He heard the Vice President do this. He identified this young man as a civilian, scared civilian, and he corroborated what he testified to publicly, and which did not find its way into the 9/11 Commission report, namely that Cheney said these things during that time. So there's unanswered questions right away, and there was a person who could have at least given me a cogent answer as to what he thought, and he failed to do so.
I wanted to focus just a moment on the Presidential Emergency Operating Center. You were there for a good part of the day. I think you were there with the Vice President. And we had that order given, I think it was by the President, that authorized the shooting down of commercial aircraft that were suspected to be controlled by terrorists. Were you there when that order was given?
No, I was not. I was made aware of it during the time that the airplane coming in to the Pentagon. There was a young man who would come in and say to the Vice President, the plane is 50 miles out. The plane is 30 miles out. And when it got down to the plane is 10 miles out, The young man also said to the vice president, "Do the orders still stand?" And the vice president turned and whipped his neck around and said, "Of course the orders still stand. Have you heard anything to the contrary?" Well, at the time I didn't know what all that meant. And
The flight you're referring to is the
flight that came into the Pentagon.
Pentagon. Yeah.
If this were a dictatorship, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. Just so long as I'm the dictator.
Justice, it's not about agenda, it's not about mobilizing people, it's about dialing for corporate dollars. These two parties have sold the U.S. government and the American people to the highest bidders.
The United States of America is a terrorist base of operations. The United States of America is a friend to their evil plans. We are barbaric criminals.